One. Hello, Tom Levecchia here with the latest edition of the New Theory podcast. Today we have a special guest and a co-host, a very rare co-host. I think maybe second or third time out of close to 300 episodes. So first, let's introduce our co-host, Chris Jones. He's our resident pizza expert from Northern Jersey. Chris, welcome to the podcast as our co-host. How are you doing today?
Tom, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be on here.
And he's under a pseudonym, so you can't really tell you who he is. And then we have Alessio, a.k.a. the Sicilian Guy. He's a comedian who hails from Northern New Jersey, originally Palermitano. And, I caught up at what caught my eye was, and I've been following him for a while, but what caught my eye was he was kind of roasting Dave Portnoy a little bit about his pizza selection. But first, Alessio, welcome to the New Theory podcast. How you doing today?
Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you for having me. Chris, thank you. I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Okay, so before we jump in, and I gotta be honest with you, I am like a little underwhelmed when it comes to true Italian and Italian American comedians. Give us your top two or three, Alessio. Go.
Top. What's it again? Top three Italian American comedians.
Italian comedians. We're gonna start off with that before we get into the pizza. Who do you like?
This is the deal. I grew up in Italy. My comedians were Italian, like old school actors.
Yeah.
I never knew what Italian American comedy was until I got here to the States. I do my own style comedy about my growing up, my being raised. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have any favorite Italian American comedians. I'm not that guy that's because I'm Italian American, I'm gonna like somebody Italian American. I think Sebastian is great for an Italian American.
Yeah.
But I also think that Kevin Hart is an amazing comedian. And then there's me.
Well, so I do like Sebastian. I do think he overdoes it. And, there's a balance of there's Italian American, there's American Italian.
Well,
jokes to be a little bit more American Italian. That's just me, but what do you think?
Listen, you know what? You just took the words out of my mouth. Sebastian Maniscalco, great comedian.
Yeah.
Very, very, very Italian American.
Yeah.
More like American. Very. I totally agree. He's good at what he does. I think my comedy is much different from him because I literally base my comedy on people who are literally off the boat, and not just necessarily off the boat here in America, but also how they are in Italy and how it is to grow up Sicilian, how it is to grow up as an Italian, period.
Got it. Chris, you have any thoughts on any comedians that jump out at you?
Yeah, it's Sebastian Maniscalco. I really like him a lot. And again, probably because my family's a little bit more Italian American or American Italian. Yeah. But I love his stuff, and he's the one that jumps out at me, obviously.
There's a guy so it's interesting. We have an Italian American, American Italian, so we kind of cover all the gamuts here, which is great. But well, actually, Chris, you're Italian American. Your mother's from there, but anyway, so Alessio, there's a guy named Mike Rodeo, Mike something. I don't know. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it's Rodea.
That's it. You know?
Okay.
Okay, so maybe
I know you're talking about the guy that does the videos with the big mouth.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, that's him, Chris, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask Chris first. He seems a little bit more familiar. He's a guy my family loves, and he does like the Italian parent stuff. He seems to, probably first generation. I want to like this guy, I just can't. Like I want to, I just want him, and I just can't. I don't find him funny. Do you like him, Chris?
I do. I think some of his stuff it's kind of it's a little bit generic or repetitive as to what he does. He does his aunt and his uncle, but I really think some of the stuff is out of this world. The problem is, and I'm sure with any comedian, he has to put out a lot of content to compete. Yeah. So he puts out content almost every day. And so sometimes it can get a little bit tired, but you can get some real gems in some of his comedy. And I really like a lot of his stuff. The only thing is, again, it can get repetitive after a while, but he's very funny. I think I like him.
And got it. And Alessio, you're not as familiar with him, correct?
I'm familiar with him. I know that when I started comedy about 7 years ago, about 6 years ago, I know I was probably like one of the very few ones, or probably like I don't want to say the first, but probably of actually creating this perfect character of the Zia and acting out how Italian mothers are. And you know, like I feel like everybody followed along in that. I feel that Brodia has been around, I don't know, a year, 2 years, and all of a sudden he comes out with, you know, with this Zia as well. And I think that a lot of people are, you know, are following footsteps on you know, on something that they find that, you know, work. It worked for me, so I feel like they find something that they want to follow footsteps and they'll work for them. But you know, so I'm just gonna leave it at that.
So he's like the I don't know, Chris, if you saw Joe Rogan, but the Carlos Mencia of Italian comedy, where he just kind of borrows some people's material. All right, let's jump right in. So what got my attention, Alessio, was your post about calling Dave Portnoy out on not knowing the pizza game. So why don't you first? What initiated that? What made you call him out?
You know what made me call him out? This is what I'm going to make, and there's a lot of misunderstanding on the videos that I put out when I call people out, because it's just I'm a creature of habit. I am, you know, I'm Sicilian. I'm very emotional, and when we speak or when we try to say something, we're very emotional. So emotions come in, and sometimes I'm very misunderstood. And I'm going to get to that in just a bit. Right now, I'm just going to cover the fact that why I call them out. The reason why I call them out is because I think that there's nothing wrong with advertising a business.
Yeah.
I don't care what business you advertise. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I do that all the time. Yeah. Every time I go to an Italian American business, I'll either put it on my story, I'll make a video about it, I'll advertise them. I just don't feel that the way he does it is correct, in a way where I have to say that, you know, I kind of saw a couple of his ratings, and the fucking dude, you know, is arrogant, and he's knocking the people's names. He's eating out of the box like a freaking scavenger. I mean, first of all, what got to me is the number one rule in pizza, okay, that people understand. You know, if you're gonna rate, especially that's what you feel like you're doing, you're rating, correct, dude. It's oven to table. Number one mistake. The pizza is getting compromised by putting it in the box. He's taking it outside. He's eating out in the wind and the cold. So that right there bothered me. The fact that he's disrespecting the place's names, that he calls them out and the name sucks and this sucks, and the fact that he actually gives a number to rate these pizzas. I don't agree with that, because the same way, at the same time that he's advertising for somebody, it could get them business. It could actually hurt other people that worked really hard for their business by giving them a lower score and kind of like hurting their business. I understand that he's raising money for a certain businesses. That's great, but it's not all good. If you really look at the entire picture, it's not all good. And now going back to the fact where I'm misunderstood. People feel like I'm hating on him or I don't like what he's doing. No, the thing is that he shouldn't be rating pizza. You know, a guy from Boston that doesn't know what he's talking about pizza, he shouldn't rate pizza. He's not doing it the correct way. And pretty much that's where I stand with that. That's where I stand. I don't hate the guy for raising money, but just the way he's doing it, he could find a better platform and a different way of doing that. That's my feelings towards that.
Well, I'll have Chris jump in a second. You're right where the pizza, actually, if you're going to serve pizza to him, make sure it's freaking fresh. He'll catch you on the reheat, so just time it correctly. And then number two is do not close the box. That's the biggest mistake people make. They close the box, which actually like kind of traps in the heat in a way, but it doesn't, it's not convection. It actually absorbs it and can have a compromising of the taste.
It's the same thing with French fries in an aluminum and you put the plastic on top, and they could be as crunchy as you want. As soon as you take those things, you cover them up in a plastic, and they're gonna be soggy and disgusting. No matter how fries are good, correct?
Correct. Chris, what are your thoughts?
No, I take the complete opposite stance, and I'm not just being contradictory. I actually think that his stuff is awesome, and the reason why I like it. So his One Bite app, I think, is what equalizes the entire rating system. So what happens is on that One Bite app, he rates it one way, and if the community thinks it's a shitty review, they rate it one way. So for instance, Alessio, I don't know if you're familiar with Star Pizza. It's one of my faves in New Jersey. He rated it like a 7.3 or 7.1. What is a low score? The community rated it like an 8.1, which is more consistent with what I think it deserves. So I think it all equalizes out with that One Bite app. The whole thing around, yes, I understand it's not the ideal conditions, but I like that he just calls these places at random and says, hey, I'm picking up a pizza, and then tries it. Obviously, it's coming out of the box is not going to be as consistent if it was at the table and served right there, but there has to be certain concessions that are made based off of what he does. Third point is the fact that he's a business and he's running a business and promoting his own business as well as others. So I think from a business perspective, he has the right concept of bringing people in with his personality, promoting the business that he does when he does like little ads for the things that he promotes, whether it's jeans or the shirts or the shit that he has on his website. And then also, the reason why it's not make or breaking these businesses is because I think a lot of the controversy comes when it's in that One Bite app. So he rates it a 7.1. Somebody rates it, the community rates it an 8.1, and it equalizes, and it's like a little bit of a, pissing contest that way.
Well, really quick before Alessio speaks, I agree with everything you said, with the exception of if he gives something an 8 and above, that materially affects their business. So I think Alessio is kind of, and versus I know what you're saying, versus you get up like a 9 in the app and a 7 from him. It doesn't drive people to, that business. I was actually driving in Hoboken where I got a ping saying, hey, go to 10th Street Pizza. That's an 8.8 because Dave, Dave rated. So Chris, I agree with everything almost categorically, but where it falls short is he does almost now have such a huge platform that he could like make or break a business. And he has a style of pizza too, where he is a bar pizza guy. That's why I'm surprised Star Tavern didn't do well. So if you make pizza napoletana, you're screwed because you're gonna get around a 6.8. Alessio, what are your thoughts?
Exactly. My thoughts are that if we're going to talk about pizza, let's talk about pizza. As a Sicilian, I'm going to give the credit to the Napoletans for making the best pizza in the world. I've been to Napoli, ate their pizza. It's out of this world. Yeah. Now you come to America, you're making the best Napolitan style pizza. And just because he doesn't like it, like you said, he's going to rate it a 6.8. That's freaking ridiculous, man. Stick to your bar pizza. Rate some chicken nuggets and fries, rate some bar foods, man. Don't rate pizza. Come on, man. I listen, the world goes around and that's a beautiful thing. Chris has his opinion. He feels like, listen, he has a platform. Okay. People like him, people are going to follow him. Some people are not going to care what the community says. People are just going to care what he says. He gives a low rating. People are going to be like, oh shit, man. Portnoy's right. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go to the place where he said, across the street where he said it's an 8.5 or whatever. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I understand the whole app situation, but you got these followers, man, that you could, you're God to certain people, and they're going to listen to every word you say. So that's the part where I don't agree. I just think that David Portnoy should be good for rating like hamburger joints and bar food, man.
Okay, so what I want to do is because I want to establish your expertise, Alessio. Other than being born in Italy, having traveled, I follow you and I chatted with you in the past, and I think you know what you're talking about. But for the audience that's watching or listening, I want to credential you a little bit. So Chris is why I had him on. He's even more of a pizza guy than I am. I just eat more of it because I'm a fat fuck, but Chris knows pizza even a little better than I do. So Chris, what are your top 3 places in New Jersey for pizza, anywhere in New Jersey? And if Alessio obviously knows them, great. If not, no big deal. But give us the 3 notable places in your opinion, and I want to see Alessio's thoughts.
So I do like bar pie, and I love Napolitan pizza as well. So in New Jersey, it's more of, I think the bests are bar pizzas. So I like Conti's in Princeton, who got a very good rating. I like Star Pizza. And then in Northern Jersey, Kinchley's is kind of, again, these are all three bar pies. But to the point that we were talking about before, he also rates Lucali and DeFara in Brooklyn, which is two that I've went to. Those are some of his two highest that he's ever rated, and those are Napolitan pizzas, which I love as well. Two of the best I've ever had in my whole life.
Well, and Chris actually travels for pizza. He'll drive somewhere 3-4 hours just to try the pizza. Now, Chris, do you follow Portnoy?
Oh, that's awesome.
Or Chris, do you follow what Portnoy does, or you just go on your own on what you hear?
No, these were I had gone there before he had rated these places, and they were those two in particular were two of my favorites. And I was laughing because he had rated those obviously high as well. And again, there's some contradictory ratings based off of what I like. It's all personal preference, but I think it's somewhat consistent with my impression of pizza.
Okay, so Alessio, of the three that
I have a question for
Yeah.
Chris, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Just Chris, real quick, and this is not this is just a legit question. In your opinion, what makes David Portnoy an expert on, I don't care if it's Napolitan pizza, American pizza, just in general? What makes him an expert?
Just quantity of that he's consumed. I don't think he's an expert in anything other than he's tried a whole bunch of different pizza places, and
So we're talking about palate. We're talking about his taste, then, correct?
Well, I think that he can. What he says is he rates the sauce, the consistency, the crispness. That's not everybody's jam. It doesn't necessarily, like a sweet sauce that's on a pie doesn't necessarily, for somebody else's taste buds, taste the same as what it does for his. So all this stuff is objective. The reason why I like that One Bite app is because you can compare it to the community, and that's the masses. So, and not to go back to that app, but I have to say, at the end of the day, if he rates a place high, that's just beneficial to the business itself.
Yes, I agree.
If he rates a place low and the community still rates it high, that community, the business is not going to lose business because he went there and didn't rate it as high as the community. It's still going to get the same amount of business, but it's not going to get that upside potential when he rates it 8.5, and now everybody just floods the doors to try and get a slice at that place.
True. Now, listen, you're a Bergen County guy, so you're not expected to know all the Jersey. You might, but other three places, Star, Conti, and what was the third one? Kitchley's. Are you familiar with the Kitchley's of Bergen County? Are you familiar with any of the three, Alessio?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Conti's.
Okay, what are your thoughts?
It's good. It's good pizza. It's great pizza, but
yeah,
I'm not gonna give no numbers, man. I'm not Portnoy. Sorry.
Okay.
It's good pizza. It's good pizza. But I grew up around good food. I'm happy to brag about that because I come from a family of cooks, starting from my great grandmother, my grandmothers, my mom. The cooking passed on to me. I cook as well. We always made fresh everything, fresh sauce, fresh mozzarella. We cooked our own fresh food all the time. So I know when I go to a place, especially, I'm not saying that I'm an expert in pizza, but I know what good sauce is. I know what good mozzarella is. So I do have three places of my own where I think.
Let's go.
Yeah. I think that there's this little hidden gem in Medham, New Jersey. It's next to Morristown.
Yeah.
It's called Sapori d'Italia. So this guy is been in the States for only like 7 years. And he's from a province in Palermo called Carini. He makes
Carini,
yeah. So he makes a typical American pie, but he dips the dough in semolina before he actually puts it in the oven. So he dips the dough in yellow semolina, and then he uses an amazing tomato sauce. Great mozzarella. It's fresh. It's not like that plastic thing, and that's worth trying. And that's American style pizza. So now for Napoletan pizza, am I still on?
Yeah, I'm doing the just looking at the supporting the entire website as we're speaking.
Yes.
Check this
For
out.
Napoletano pizza, I don't know if you heard of it, but there's a pizza that the actual pizza man is straight from Naples, and it's Blue Eyes in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Interesting.
I mean, that's the closest pizza that you could have in New Jersey. That you could have in Naples. So you have Blue Eyes in Hoboken, and then you have this place that just opened up about 6 months ago that I've been going. And besides the food being amazing, the pizza, it's a different style pizza. It's almost a cross between a round pie and a Sicilian, which is the square. And it's Osteria Italiana in Garfield, New Jersey.
That was rated like top pizza place, I think, by Peter Genovese, or one of the big Jersey pizza reviewers.
What's that? Osteria?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it was 12.com.
That's it. Yeah, they named it best pizza in Jersey. So this is a little bit more.
I opened like probably not even a year. He's probably been open like 6 months. It's amazing. His pizza is amazing.
Interesting. Okay, so one, I haven't had any of the three. I am going to try all three, and then we're going to have you back on.
Absolutely, that'd be great.
I remember that Blue Eyes place. It's kind of on the water, and
Exactly, it's right on the water. So just so you guys know, I have no affiliations with these people. I'm not trying to advertise for them. I'm just talking about my opinion because I go to these places a lot. I've been to other places as well, but these three places particularly, the pizzas you want to have pizza, you go there and you have a good. Then you know what? There's a fourth one too that's pretty good. And this guy's it's in actually Totowa, and it's Sette Pizza in Totowa, New Jersey. It's right on Union Boulevard. He makes kind of like a Napoletan Calabrese style pizza. It's a round personal pie. Great pizza as well. Amazing pizza as well. I go there a lot as well.
Speaking of Calabrese, did you ever have Induja on pizza?
Of course, but I have to put little because I when it comes to that, I'm kind of like a little girl.
Shit. All right. So, Chris, any of those four spots are because this is the Alessio is challenging the pizza game here. So it's kind of newer spots. Chris, any thoughts or heard of any of those places? I haven't.
Honestly, I'm so excited because I can't wait to try those three spots. And you could tell Alessio definitely knows exactly what he's talking about. So I'm excited to test these.
Definitely, man.
I'll give you my list. And I hate to say this, but Dave Portnoy definitely influenced the list because I know good pizza. I like good pizza. I have to give a high rating to Ralph's Pizza in Belleville on Franklin Ave. That's excellent. It's consistent. See, the other things we talk about is I kind of feel newer places or fancier places, they tend to be great, but they may not be consistent. You go to Ralph's like Monday or to Saturday morning, like it's consistent. So Ralph's is a good quality pizza. Chris, have you ever had Ralph's?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's very good too.
Okay. My girlfriend loves Angeloni's. I think, what is that, Caldwell, Chris?
Yeah, it's in Caldwell. I prefer a place that's across the street that is like, honestly, in my opinion, 10 times better, but it's a different kind of
Tony D's, right?
Yeah, Tony D's is one of my favorites in New Jersey, and it's just a grandma style pizza and excellent. I really that's my Friday go-to.
So what are your thoughts on Angeloni's or Tony D's?
Yeah, Tony D's and the grandma, absolutely, man.
But you're not feeling Angeloni's, I can tell in your face.
No.
No. All right.
No.
All right. And then,
Caldwell, right? Yeah, I don't even think I know where that is. I mean, I heard of the town, but not
Yeah.
my thing.
now there's a place in Elizabeth, and this is funny because I grew up in the area. It's like a weird part of. We lost you the visual. There you are.
Sorry.
No worries. So place in Elizabeth called Santillo's that like he went to, got a lot of views. I want to like that place. I want to. I like the guy. A true pizzaiolo. You know the whole bit, and I want to love it. And I got to ask you guys this. I bought it, drove home for about a half hour, and then I didn't reheat it. I was stupid. I didn't reheat it. And I think it killed the vibe. So, one, what do you guys think of Santillo's? And two, what do you do in that situation where you have a ride that you really want to bring it home? Alessio, go first.
What's that? The actual
Have you been
pizza?
to, yeah, well, first, have you been to Santillo's in Elizabeth?
I have. I actually had the pizza there.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
No, not one of my favorites.
Okay.
And now answering your other question, I mean, listen, you know, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, if you're going to bring it home, you got to bring it home. Listen, I have pizza for delivery too. Listen, it's not going to taste, like I said before, you know, the whole rule, the oven to table, it's not going to taste as good. I mean, but it's going to taste okay. But I was talking about more, you know, for true rating. For true rating, you actually want to sit the place, have it come out of the oven, let it sit there for 3-4 minutes, you know, just so it cools off enough for you to eat it. And that was my whole point on oven to table rating. But if the pizza is good and, you know, and you're going to take it home, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
True.
But if you give it a rating, I just say, you know what, eat it there at the moment, right out of the oven, fresh.
True. Chris, any thoughts on Santillo's? You have it before?
Santillo's I haven't had before. It's one of the places that's on my list to go to. But I'll give you my tip on reheating pizza.
Yeah.
Is you put it in a non-stick fry pan instead of the oven, and you just heat it up that way, and it crisps the bottom, gets the top hot, and that's my jam for reheating pizza as soon as you get it back. If it's a little bit Bustamante.
Got it. I like that. Now,
Never use a microwave to heat up pizza. Never. Never.
well,
Eat it out. Just stick it in the oven, you know. People use the microwave. I'm like, what are you doing?
That's given. Now, interesting enough is one place that I want to bring up, and I got to give the full disclosure because you're a relative, but I didn't know. He gave an 8.8 rating to 10th Street Pizza in Hoboken, and I went there because of that, and it turned out my cousin owned it. Alessio, you're probably the same way. Chris, you're probably the same way. My family, I'm one of 6. He's one of 11. Like, just we're all over the place, right? He's like my second cousin, but I haven't seen him in years. Great guy, Mario. But I actually love his pizza. 2 reasons. One, it's just great fucking pizza. And then 2, it reminds me a little bit of my mom's and my aunt's when she was alive. God rest both of their souls. And I don't know, did either of you guys have 10th Street? Listen, did you ever have 10th Street Pizza yet?
Nope.
I think you would like it because he's Italian. He does like the true like Napoleon style. He does do the margarita.
I would love to try it, and I will try it. So next time that we do talk, we'll talk about the places that I told you and the places that Chris said, and I definitely want to try them out as well. Absolutely.
Love it. And then Chris, you have any thoughts on 10th Street? You ever try it yet?
I have not tried it, but I also want to throw in 2 suggestions that slipped my mind to begin with. Is Nancy's in Rahway is an excellent
Nancy's
one.
I was gonna say that, but we talked too much bar pie. But Nancy's is a sleeper.
I feel like I'm giving the bar pie angle, but from a Napolitan pizza, Bivio in Montclair is an absolute gem too, and it's a hidden gem, kind of what Alessio was talking about too. So I would definitely check that one out. The guy is absolutely the real deal, and his pizza is excellent.
Now Alessio, if it's a bar pie, right? But you could tell it's good quality sauce, not oily, good cheese, but not oily, like done correctly, good tang, no flop, like good undercarriage, good crisp. Are you good with like, hey, a good pizza is a good pizza, or does your preferences come into play for
No. Listen, we just mentioned like the three most important ingredients in a pizza. I mean, yeah, I think that my thing is, and this is just personal. My thing is the sauce, man. The sauce, you know, in a pizza, the dough, the mozzarella, or the sauce can make it or break it. But I think the sauce is very, very important because, you know, if the dough is not as crisp and it's a little soft, but you got some really good sauce and really good mozzarella. I mean, you know what? It could be good. You know, maybe you have a little bit more well done or whatever. But if you have like some bad sauce on that thing that tastes like Elio's that's frozen, or you know that you know. But yeah, I'm definitely, you know, if it's good pizza, I don't care where you make it. It's good pizza. Yeah.
Now, I want to switch gears in for a second. So I don't want to, in COVID especially, I don't want to dog anybody's business because, you know, we're fighting for every nickel.
Right.
But in fairness, we are talking about the pizza game. So give me either of you guys, or let's start with Alessio, any places that you feel maybe a little overrated versus the notoriety that they get. Just anyone, you don't got to beat anybody up. We're not saying not to go there, but maybe a place that, like, you know what, everybody loves it. I went there. You're like, eh. Any place like that?
You guys ever hear of Pizza Town?
Yes.
Pizza
Yes.
Town, and that's in, I believe, it's
Lyndhurst.
in Lodi on Route
Lodi.
46.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
People love it. People rave about it. They listen, great pizza. Like if I'm hungry, because they're open late to like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
If I'm hungry at 11, 12 o'clock, I'm coming back from a club and I'm hungry, I'll definitely stop by and get the pizza there. Good pizza. It's good pizza for the moment. But for me to like actually go out of my way, no, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm gonna leave it at.
I'll have Chris jump in. I actually agree with that. I had higher hopes because it had got a good rating on the app, as well as also Sopranos thing. So I agree. Good pizza. Did not go there, but a little on the overrated side. Chris?
I completely agree, but I never go there for their pizza. Their pizza is JV, in my opinion. And I go there. They have deep fried calzones and
Yes.
zeppoli that are off the charts good. So that is really, if you're going there and it's, Alessio, I'm cracking up because you're like, I'm coming home from the club. But that is an absolute go-to for like a deep fried calzone. Their calzones are my favorite, but their pizza is JV.
So Chris, you're again. I admittedly happy to share that you're a little stronger in the pizza game than I am in terms of places because you just literally just go nuts over it. What's a little overrated place in your opinion?
Hi. I'm trying to think. You know, I think Alessio kind of nailed it with that Pizza Town reference. I'm trying to think of a place that I think is just highly overrated. You know what, Tom? I can't, off the top of my head, I really can't come up with a place that I've been to that seems to have knocked everybody else's socks off, but not mine.
Yeah, I'm gonna retry Santillo's. I like him a lot. I'm rooting for him. He does well. I want to like it more. I'm gonna either eat it right there in the street or I'm gonna bring it home and reheat. But that's one that I drove for, a little disappointed. But again, I'll own it. Maybe have to reheat or do whatever. So all right, I think we covered a lot of ground here. We're definitely gonna do a follow-up interview. So Alessio, tell us about like your comedy, and I'll just share with you. I was on social media pretty heavy. I took about a year and a half break. I just got tired of it. I'm still not even on personally. I just do like the New Theory Instagram and personal Facebook to see who died, right? So how was COVID? And you were killing it back then. You still are, but a little bit of a break. So I want you to catch me up. So how has COVID affected your content? And did you pivot? And if so, like, just give us a kind of pre-COVID what was cooking, and then how did COVID help your content?
Yeah, man. COVID hit. It was a pretty hard hit. I could say that was like on my prime of like, like just doing really well. I was preparing 2020 for in 2019. We planned so hard, me and my team, to have like this beautiful tour. We had like 12 states, about 16 different cities.
Oh wow!
We had Canada. We had Toronto and Montreal. We were gonna hit Melbourne in Australia.
Wow!
And we were also gonna hit London. We had everything planned out. I started my first show in New Jersey, February 1st. I was gonna do March, the whole East Coast. There was gonna be Boston, Philly, Connecticut. Anyway, to make a long story short, COVID just took that away. All shows were canceled after the first show in New Jersey, in my hometown. I mean, it's rough, man. I mean, COVID. The whole COVID thing is sad. It gave me some material, on how like the Italian old timers were kind of like, paranoid about it, how they stayed home, how the comadres, they call each other and just, chit chat. And I also made videos on the whole, pandemic relief on the $1,200, how everybody was waiting for the money, and every day they would call each other and ask him, "Tu ibigay si Pichule tu? Did you get the money? Did you get the money? Yeah, no, I didn't get the money. These the government, they don't care nothing about us." So that gave me a little material on doing that. But man, things are just it's crazy because there's not much going on, honestly. I tried to release a video like at least once every month and a half. I'm not big in the whole game. Like I like people to to have a break in between my videos. I don't want to fill them with everyday content. So I just want to say that every video that I make, it's really thought through. And I want to make it, nice. I want to make it right. I want to make it legit. And everything's pretty much based on true stories. So that's why my videos are so far apart. And I mean, it is what it is. I got some, good views, great comments during this COVID, but you know what? I just want to go back out there and tour, and hopefully maybe 2021 is a better year and we could start getting out there and being live with people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I would say where you might have got like harder hit is because Italy got slammed first, right? And then New York got slammed, and then like everywhere else. And it's kind of hard to like make jokes about Italian American culture when people are dying. Like I don't mean to laugh, but it's like, how do you?
Right. I do have to say on that note, actually, it wasn't so bad because my comedy is very, it's very easy.
Yeah.
I keep it on the light side. So contrary to that, I actually had a lot of people from all over the world actually message me. And if you could see through, sometimes through the comments, they actually enjoyed the comedy in a time of need. And they needed to laugh, and they were very, very, very grateful. No negatives on that. Like nobody ever said, not even one person ever said, "Oh, in a time like this, it's not funny." No, people were actually really grateful for my comedy.
Nice. Now, from a business standpoint, because I can't imagine, you would have obviously made money on those trips, greater exposure, maybe sell a little merch, try to. So obviously that got taken off the table. I know you on Instagram, admittedly, 50,000 followers, real followers. Like you don't play games. You have like good good viewership. You have some good stuff. One thing I like about you, you don't really sell. Like a lot of people that do this either for a living or part time for a living, always are trying to monetize too quickly. And I like how you're kind of building brick by brick without over monetizing. So I like that.
Absolutely.
Now, are you on YouTube as well? Because you can monetize there. Are you on YouTube or just?
I'm on YouTube, but I'll be honest with you, I had an account where I had like I think it was 20 or 30,000 subscribers.
Good.
I don't even know what happened to that account. And then I started a new one. I don't have that many subscribers. I'm gonna say straight up, I do post my videos on YouTube. I am not big on YouTube.
You're an Instagram guy.
Yeah, I'm an Instagram guy. You know, I do it for fun. You know, and when I do shows, I do it because honestly, I love it. But yeah, no, it's not about making money on YouTube.
Got it. In terms of newer content, are you and newer platforms? Are you on TikTok?
Nope.
Okay, I'm just wondering only because like it's kind of aging up. I think you're a young guy, I'm a little older, but I'm seeing people in their 20s. I do digital marketing in my real life, so like
I think it does market a lot of teenagers and a lot of younger people. I've seen some videos, you know, on TikTok. Some of them are cute, you know, some of them are cool, but it's just not my style, man.
Yeah.
It's just not my thing. Just not my thing.
So
Yeah.
Chris is a smart guy. Chris is a successful business guy. Chris, have you haven't, it's fine. Have you seen Alessio's page by chance?
No, but I can't wait to check him out.
Yeah, he's funny as fuck. You got to check it.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, thank you, Tom. Thank you.
So if you were coaching him business wise, and I kind of like to stay in your lane, but what advice would you give him? And to be honest, let me vouch for Chris. He's a successful business guy, many successful businesses. So Chris, what kind of advice would you give to Alessio?
Yeah, so exactly what you kind of talked about before. The two platforms that I think he could take advantage of just to monetize it a little bit would obviously be YouTube. And then although it's a younger demographic with TikTok, if he can get on there and just have his personality be part of that platform, you're getting a built-in audience for 10 years, 20 years, if you can get them hooked on all of your stuff, which sounds really good right off the bat. So it takes a little bit of pivoting, but trying to figure out your funny way and squeezing it into that platform may be a thing that, you know, kind of pushes you over the ledge for the future too.
Oh, okay.
And don't laugh at me, Alessio, but this as a digital marketer, Facebook. I'm going to tell you why. So I'm going to be 45 years old Tuesday. Yikes! And I grew up.
I'm not too far behind, Tom.
Oh, I thought you were like 29. God bless.
No, dude, I'm 39.
Well, God bless.
Yeah, thank you.
So my parents, my parents aren't alive. I have children now. I have siblings, one of 6. And, because my parents are gone, everybody's like, we're still close. You're all living near each other, a few miles away from each other. But it's a little bit not the same not having, my mother around, right? That
Sure. Because she's the glue. She was the glue. Italian mothers are the glue.
Correct. So like as an Italian American, I now have a huge appetite for Italian content that remind me of my youth, almost like comic books, that kind of stuff. So I have like a huge appetite for that kind of comedy, that type of content, which goes back to why I like pizza, because my mom always made pizza. And I don't cook that well. My girlfriend's great and everything, but she doesn't really cook that great. She's starting to, which is great. But what I'm getting at is, so now I'll even go out to dinner once in a while for Italian food, which I never did before. Like, you can't, like, if you have Italian mom at home, when you go out to dinner, it's like, better go in here. What are you doing, right?
Exactly.
So that's why I recommend Facebook for you too, because there's so many Italian groups. Like,
oh no, I'm on Facebook. I have a good platform on
you do? Okay,
Facebook.
cool.
I have my my comedy page on Facebook. It's the Sicilian Guy Comedy. It has about 32,000. I'm getting there.
Wow.
Yeah. About 32,000 followers. Yeah, I'm getting there.
Love it. So before we conclude, give us like your best and favorite show you ever performed. One night where you nailed it, you had a great time, you were in your groove, people were laughing, and you just freaking crushed it. Where were you and when did it happen?
Tom, I don't want to sound like, like I'm bragging, but, thank God, and I knock on wood, I'm blessed. And I say this because, I thank God and I'm blessed. I never had a bad show, or all my shows were successful. I do give a lot of credit to my audience. I'm that type of guy that, I feed off the crowd's energy. So the more they feed that energy of laughter and cheering, it just, it just gives me more to do and more to say and more improv. I do have to say though, one of my best shows, and one of the best crowds. Everybody's been a great crowd, but crazy great crowds. Queens, New York, man. Queens, New York. I think it was 2018. It was in Queens, and amazing show. Everything was just like perfect. The crowd was amazing. The energy was great. Successful.
Nice. And
Yeah.
I think Chris may agree with this because you mentioned like places that you were going to perform, and I noticed like on the internet or on Instagram specifically, there's different pockets of like fun Italian, sites and pages and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And they generally congregate towards a bigger Italian areas. And I have a little bit of a beef with New Jersey Italians. I just feel, my humble opinion, that like from like Toronto, Montreal, New York, Italians tend to be a little bit more cohesive and keep the culture alive. Where in New Jersey, I get we're suburban, I get we're decentralized a little bit, but I don't like the centrality of our Italian American culture in New Jersey. It's a little disappointing to me.
Tom,
It's me.
I couldn't agree with you more, man.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I wasn't gonna mention that, but the Italian Americans in New York, and I'm talking about right across the bridge, man.
Yeah.
From the Italian Americans in New Jersey,
Yeah.
night and day. And I know because I do shows and I feel it, I see it. And I didn't know it was like that until I did comedy, how I saw the difference. Queens Italians, like Middle Village and Whitestone, and then you got those Long Island Italians and those Staten Island Italians.
Yeah.
With New Jersey Italian Americans, you're absolutely right, night and day. And you know what? Yeah, I'm a little disappointed too, so I do agree.
Chris, you agree?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think when you look at it from where they grew up and then in New Jersey where they end up, I think Italian Americans in New Jersey don't necessarily stick to the towns that they grew up in, whereas in other areas they kind of still stay there. New Jersey, it's like it gets where are we going next? What town can I move to next versus why don't we just stay here and build a cohesive unit from there? So yeah, I definitely can see what you're talking about, but I obviously defer to the two of you, especially on the comedy perspective. So Alessio definitely can tell from an audience.
True. All right. So we're gonna wrap it up. So we have some homework, guys. We're gonna try some new places and we'll report back. Let's give ourselves like 2-3 weeks because things are a little crazy now. Alessio, how can we find you?
So you can find me on Instagram at the Sicilian Guy, Facebook, the Sicilian Guy Comedy, YouTube, the Sicilian Guy. Yeah, I'm there.
So let me guess, you're the Sicilian Guy.
Hold on, wait. Oh yeah, that's me, the Sicilian Guy.
Alessio, thank you. Sit tight for a second because I'm going to turn up the audio, chat with you a little bit. But the great show, Chris. Thanks for jumping on, and thanks for listening to New Theory Podcast. Make sure you subscribe, whatever platform you're on, whether it be YouTube or iTunes, and make sure you share and give a review to your friends. Thanks so much.